minus 50 degrees Celsius, survival stops being a choice. It becomes a daily discipline, where every mistake is punished instantly by the cold. In this frozen corner of the world, nature does not negotiate. Here, metal becomes fragile, fuel turns to jelly, and exposed skin can freeze in seconds. This is not just cold weather. This is an environment that actively tries to kill anything unprepared. And yet, hundreds of thousands of people call this place home. They wake up, go to work, raise families, and build cities on ground that never truly thaws. This is Siberian life at its absolute limit. Yakutsk is the coldest major city on Earth. In winter, temperatures regularly drop below minus 40. When it reaches minus 50, the air itself feels solid. At these temperatures, cars cannot be turned off. Engines run day and night, because restarting them could mean permanent failure. The cold dictates the rules. Humans simply adapt. Buildings are not anchored into the ground. They stand on stilts, elevated above the permafrost. If the heat melts the soil beneath, entire structures could collapse. Going outside is never casual. Every layer of clothing is calculated. Every exposed centimeter of skin is a potential injury. Even sound behaves differently in extreme cold. Engines crackle, ice pops and snaps like distant gunfire beneath your feet. This is not survival driven by heroism. It is survival driven by routine, knowledge, and respect for the cold. Mistakes here are remembered for generations. In Siberia, winter is not a season. It is a permanent condition of life. And those who endure it have learned lessons the rest of the world will never fully understand. When temperatures fall below minus 50 degrees Celsius, cold stops being just weather. It becomes a constant threat. Metal turns brittle. Skin freezes in seconds. Breathing feels like inhaling needles of ice. Yet in this frozen reality, daily life does not stop. People still wake up, go to work, raise families, and move through the city as if this extreme cold were simply another part of the routine. Survival here is not about heroism. It is about preparation, discipline, and generations of knowledge passed down in silence. At minus 50 degrees Celsius, daily life becomes an act of calculation. Every movement is slower. Every mistake is punished immediately by the cold. Going outside is never spontaneous. People plan their trips carefully, knowing how long they can safely stay exposed before frostbite begins. Cars are rarely turned off. Engines left running for hours, sometimes days, because restarting them in this cold can be impossible. Buildings here are not designed for comfort. They are designed for survival. Homes are raised above the permafrost to prevent heat from melting the frozen earth beneath. If the ground thaws, the buildings collapse. Inside, warmth is everything. Thick walls, sealed windows, and constant heating separate life from death. Children still go to school, but at extreme temperatures, even education bows to the cold. When temperatures drop below -55, schools close. Not because learning stops, but because survival comes first. At -50 degrees Celsius, daily life becomes a calculated operation. Nothing is casual, nothing is wasted. Every movement, every decision is shaped by the cold. In Siberia, survival is not heroic. It is routine. People wake before sunrise, not because they want to, but because daylight is limited and every hour matters. Engines must be started early, kept running, or they may never start again. Metal becomes brittle. Plastic shatters like glass. Human skin freezes in minutes. And yet life continues. Clothing is not fashion here, it is engineering. Layers of fur, wool, and insulated fabric work together, trapping heat while allowing moisture to escape. A mistake, too little insulation or too much sweat, can be dangerous. Faces are covered. Breath freezes into ice crystals on scarves and eyelashes. Speech becomes brief, efficient. The cold does not allow unnecessary words. Homes are designed to resist the cold as much as possible. Buildings stand on stilts above frozen ground, protecting the permafrost beneath. Heat is constant. Pipes never turn off. If they freeze, they burst. Inside, temperatures are high. Windows fog. Warmth feels almost excessive, a sharp contrast to the lethal cold outside. This balance is fragile, but it works. Children still go to school, workers still commute, markets still open. There is a temperature threshold, around -55, when schools close and movement slows. But until then, life continues. Because in Siberia, the cold does not stop you. You adapt to it. At minus 50 degrees, daily life becomes a carefully calculated routine. Nothing is spontaneous anymore. Every movement, every trip outside, every task must be planned, because mistakes in this cold are not forgiven. Cars never truly turn off here. Engines run day and night, even outside homes and shops. If the engine dies, it may never start again. Buildings are raised above the ground, standing on concrete stilts. Below them lies permafrost, frozen earth that must never thaw. If it does, entire structures can collapse. Even simple errands become endurance tests. Exposed skin freezes in minutes. Eyebrows turn white. Breath crystallizes before it escapes the mouth. Children still go to school. Work continues. Life does not stop. It adapts. Because in Siberia, survival is not heroic. It is simply normal. At minus 50 degrees Celsius, daily life becomes a calculated ritual. Nothing is done casually. Every movement, every decision is measured against the cold. In this temperature, metal cracks like glass, plastic shatters, electronics fail within minutes if exposed. Cars are never turned off for long. Engines run day and night, because once they stop, restarting may be impossible. Homes are raised above the ground on stilts, not by choice, but by necessity. The permafrost below must never be allowed to melt. Inside, warmth is everything. Thick walls, constant heating, and layers of insulation stand between life and death. Outside, exposed skin freezes in minutes. People learn to cover every inch. Face, hands, breath itself. At minus 50 degrees Celsius, survival is no longer dramatic. It becomes routine. In Siberia, people do not wake up wondering if the cold will defeat them. They wake up knowing exactly how to move, what to wear, and how long they can stay outside before the cold begins to bite. Every action is calculated. Every mistake is expensive. At these temperatures, exposed skin freezes in minutes. Metal burns to the touch. Plastic shatters like glass. And yet the city continues to function. Cars idle day and night. Engines never turned off because restarting them could be impossible. Buses run on schedule. Children still walk to school. Life does not pause for the cold, it adapts. At minus 50 degrees Celsius, technology begins to fail. Batteries drain in minutes. Plastic turns brittle. Metal burns bare skin on contact. In Siberia, survival depends not on comfort, but on constant adaptation. Cars are never fully turned off in winter. Engines run day and night, because restarting them could be impossible. Even a short stop can mean frozen fuel lines and a vehicle trapped forever in ice. People learn to listen to the cold, to recognize the sounds of cracking ice, the warning creaks of frozen buildings, and the subtle signs that something is about to fail. This is not a fight against nature. It is a daily negotiation with it. At minus 50 degrees Celsius, daily life becomes a calculated ritual. Every movement outside is planned, every minute measured. Exposed skin freezes in seconds, metal burns to the touch, and silence itself feels heavier. Yet people still go to work, children still walk to school, and cities continue to function. Not because the cold is conquered, but because it is understood. Cars are never truly turned off in winter. Engines run day and night, because once they stop, restarting may be impossible. Parking lots become fields of idling vehicles, humming softly beneath layers of frost. Fuel, like warmth, is never wasted here. Clothing is not fashion. It is survival engineering. Layers of fur, wool, and insulated fabric trap heat close to the body. Faces are wrapped until only the eyes remain, blinking against ice crystals carried by the wind. In Siberia, warmth is worn like armor. Buildings themselves must adapt to the cold. Homes stand on stilts above permanently frozen ground, protecting the permafrost below. Pipes are insulated, walls are thick, and heat is life. A single failure in infrastructure can turn deadly within hours. Despite the cold, community endures. Markets still open, conversations still happen, laughter still echoes through frozen air. Human warmth fills the spaces where temperature cannot. Because surviving Siberia is not only about heat, it is about resilience, routine, and belonging. When temperatures fall below minus 50 degrees Celsius, the cold stops being just weather. It becomes a constant presence, something that shapes how people walk, breathe, work, and even think. In these conditions, survival is no longer about comfort, but about precision, discipline, and deep respect for the environment. Every mistake is amplified. Every routine matters. Cars are never turned off for long. Engines freeze solid in minutes. Fuel thickens. Metal becomes brittle. Plastic snaps like glass. People plan their movements carefully because standing still too long can be dangerous. In Siberia, even time behaves differently in the cold. Clothing is not fashion here, it is technology. Layers of fur, wool, and synthetic insulation work together to trap heat and block the wind. Skin is covered completely. Faces are wrapped. Only the eyes remain exposed, and even they are protected. Homes are raised above the ground on pillars, not for beauty, but for survival. The earth beneath is permanently frozen. Heat from buildings would melt it, causing foundations to collapse. So Siberian cities float above the permafrost, balanced between warmth and ice. Despite the cold, life continues. Children go to school, workers commute, markets open, Because in Siberia, resilience is not heroic, it is ordinary. Survival here is not about fighting nature, but about learning its rules and never forgetting them. At -50 degrees Celsius, survival is no longer about comfort. It becomes a discipline, a series of routines learned through generations of trial and error. In Siberia, people do not rush the cold. They move with it, planning every action carefully, because a single mistake can turn dangerous within minutes. Metal burns bare skin, breath freezes into crystals, and even modern technology begins to fail. Yet life continues, quietly, methodically, shaped by experience rather than fear. At -50 degrees Celsius, survival becomes a daily calculation. Every movement costs energy. Every mistake can be fatal. In Siberia, people do not conquer the cold. They negotiate with it, minute by minute, day by day. Cars are never truly turned off. Engines run for hours, sometimes days, because restarting them in extreme cold is nearly impossible. Metal becomes brittle, rubber cracks, oil thickens like honey. Here, technology adapts, or it fails. Buildings stand on stilts lifted above the ground, not for beauty, but for survival. Beneath them lies permafrost. If heat reaches the soil, the ground melts, shifts, and collapses. So homes hover above the frozen earth, balanced on concrete legs. Outside, exposed skin freezes in minutes. Eyebrows turn white. Breath crystallizes midair. People cover every inch of themselves. Fur-lined hoods, layered clothing, masks against the wind. Fashion here is not expression, it is protection. At -50 degrees Celsius, survival becomes a daily discipline. Nothing is spontaneous anymore. Every movement, every decision is calculated. Exposed skin freezes in seconds. Metal burns to the touch. Breath itself feels heavy, sharp, almost dangerous. In places like Yakutia and Oymyakon, people don't fight the cold. They organize their entire lives around it. Cars are never turned off for long. Engines freeze solid if left unattended. Homes are raised on stilts above the permafrost, not for design, but because the ground itself cannot be trusted to stay stable. Water pipes don't run underground. They would shatter. Instead, water is hauled by hand, frozen into blocks, melted only when needed. Clothing is layered with purpose. Fur, wool, thick felt boots. Fashion is irrelevant here. Warmth is survival. Children still go to school. Work continues. Life does not pause. Because in Siberia, waiting for warmer days would mean waiting forever. This is not bravery, it is adaptation, perfected over generations. When temperatures fall below -50 degrees Celsius, the cold is no longer just a feeling, it becomes a force. Metal snaps, plastic shatters, engines refuse to wake up. In these conditions, survival is not about comfort. It is about preparation, routine, and respect for the cold. Every mistake is punished instantly, and every small habit can mean the difference between life and death. Homes here are designed for survival, not style. Walls are thick, windows are sealed tight, and beneath the floors, powerful heating systems work without pause. If the heat stops, even for a few hours, the house begins to freeze from the inside out. Pipes burst, walls crack, life grinds to a halt. Warmth is not a luxury here, it is infrastructure. Outside, clothing becomes armor. Multiple layers trap heat. Fur-lined boots protect feet from freezing ground. Faces are covered, leaving only the eyes exposed. Skin left uncovered can freeze in minutes, sometimes seconds. People learn to move with purpose. No rushing, no wasted energy. In Siberia, you don't fight the cold. You cooperate with it. Vehicles must never be trusted. Engines are kept running for hours, sometimes days, because once turned off, they may never start again. Drivers carry tools, spare fuel, and emergency blankets. Breaking down in the cold is not inconvenient, it is dangerous. In extreme Siberian winter, distance is measured not in kilometers, but in survival time. At minus 50 degrees, survival is no longer about comfort. It becomes a daily negotiation with nature, a balance between preparation, patience, and respect for the cold. In this environment, every routine is shaped by temperature. Cars run day and night. Water pipes are wrapped, insulated, protected like lifelines. Buildings rise on stilts, lifted above the permafrost, not by design, but by necessity. Here, the ground itself cannot be trusted to stay still. Children still walk to school. Workers still clock in. Life continues, not because it is easy, but because it must.
I got you. I got you.
That was a close one.
Clothing becomes armor. Layers of fur, wool, and synthetic insulation stand between skin and frostbite. Exposed skin is a mistake measured in seconds.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Food is chosen for energy, not taste. Calories are fuel. Fat becomes warmth.
Bring it down easy now. Steady, steady. All right, secure the straps.
Technology helps, but tradition endures. Knowledge passed from generations who learned the cold long before modern insulation existed. Here, silence is not empty, it is heavy. The kind that presses against your ears and reminds you how small you are. At night, the cold deepens, stars sharpen, and the city exhales steam into the darkness. Surviving minus 50 is not about conquering Siberia. It is about adapting to it, listening to it, and understanding that here, nature always sets the rules.